Pentair Mastertemp 400 HLS error code. High limit, I'm assuming. Hi there, I have a Mastertemp 400 that has been throwing an HLS error code. We replaced the thermal regulator, thermistor, the HLS switch, and have checked the manifold bypass valve that is intact. Still getting the error message and I'm out of ideas. Hopefully you can help.
So that sounds like a high limit switch error, meaning that the core temperature of the heater is too high, which, if that's the case, you would have to look at, are we venting properly? Are we getting enough venting? Because it sounds like the core of the temperature, the heat core is too high. It's either that or a sensor, and it sounds like you've replaced a bunch of those. Normally there's going to be a high limit switch and a redundant high limit switch. I would imagine that heater, a Mastertemp, would have a high limit and a redundant. You might want to look at that. There might be a resettable redundant heater in that. All the traditional heaters had them. Not really sure offhand if the Mastertemp had a redundant high limit, but I would imagine it would. But if not, you have to look at why is that code happening? And to me, that means that the core temperature of the heater is too high, and therefore that switch is activating and it's shutting down the system. So what could it be? I'm not sure. I can't remember all the things that you said you've already replaced, but you know, you've got your sensors and things, but you might want to also look at the blower. It may be that you're not getting enough airflow drawing out of the heater to keep it cool, as a possibility. You may very well, and you may not have thought of this one, but you may very well have calcium buildup in the heater core itself. And what's happening is, if you get a calcium buildup inside the loops of the heater, as water's running through it, it's not drawing enough of the heat off. And when it's not drawing enough of the heat off and returning it to the pool, the temperature of the core goes up, and sometimes that'll throw that message. So, and that's probably a really good thing to check that most people don't even think about. In a lot of the other brands of heaters, the heater will chunk and make all kinds of funny noises and almost vibrate and bounce their way right off of the equipment pad if they can. And I would think that you would start getting some of that as well, if that were the case. But I would check that. I would check the internal bypasses to make sure the internal bypass is working properly. I would also check and make sure, are you getting the proper amount of flow through the heater? Is there a bypass valve? I know every system that we plumb, we have a bypass valve that we only put some of the water through the heater, and you have to adjust that to make sure you're getting enough flow through the heater to draw the heat off, because if you're not, you might get enough water going in there to activate the flow switch, which says turn the heater on, but there's not enough water actually flowing through it to draw the heat off, and that might throw that high limit as well. So I don't know if I hit on anything there that you haven't thought of already, but I hope it helps.